Finally a car where I don't bump my head. Welcome to Great Car Conversations, where I pick up industrial leaders to talk about opportunities, trends, and challenges of their respective industrial sectors. Today, I'm on my way to NRF in the Netherlands, where I will speak with e-mobility director Freek Blackstone. I look forward to an exciting episode. Yeah, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the audience.
Yes, and NRF is a Nederlandse radiateurenfabriek. So that means the Dutch radiator manufacturer since almost 100 years. Started in Amsterdam, but this was the main factory. This is now only being used for industry, engineering and special products, I would say, one-off products for special customers in industry, marine and maybe trains as well. So the main business in NRF is of course the automotive, the car business, cars and trucks, right. Cooling and air conditioning systems, but more. We say beyond and even more. So no, we just started with turbos because it's also fitting to the products, but we have sensors, and yes, we have a complete range of innovative products for e-mobility cars, plug-in hybrids and full EVs, which is also part of the future. So yeah, we are growing that fast, double digit, and e-mobility is absolutely a key point for the future.
I see, very interesting. And speaking of turbochargers, it's been actually, spinning in my head this question whether a turbocharger, is this a future market? Does this product have its place in the electrified automotive industry?
Yes, of course, it's a hot product because the car park is aging. And over the last 10-15 years, more and more cars got turbos, not only the turbo diesels, but also small engines, 1.1 liter engines with a small turbo. Plug-in hybrids also use turbos. So it's not I would say, an old-fashioned product. It's hot, and those products break. There was a big market for remanufactured turbos, but we have found a gap for producing new turbos, which means it's a new approach. And we definitely think that for the next 10-15 years it will be a grow market. And for NRF it's quite logical. It's a compressed technology. We understand this. We can validate those products, test them. So it fits completely to the portfolio, and we have a lot of expectations. We just launched the range under the NRF brand, but we will maintain the Alanko brand for different market segments. You will see that in the future. We sell them online, not directly to end users, never. We work with distribution models. But yes, it's a turbo is interesting.
So, and this product finds application in non-automotive sectors as well. Is that something that you're tapping into, or are you?
No, the turbos are really 100% focused on the aftermarket automotive.
I see.
And mainly for passenger cars first. Maybe we also are looking for turbos for trucks in the future. But the main purpose now is cars. It's a big replacement market. And yes, I think we can take a nice market share by adding our contacts, our history, our knowledge of compressed products, and they know NRF products in an orange box are always good.
Well, congratulations to this acquisition. You have acquired the brand that is Alanko, the former German automotive after-sale product manufacturer from Germany, Sinzig, Germany. Now it is basically a brand owned by NRF.
Yes.
What has ignited that decision to acquire Alanko?
I think first of all, NRF is able to grow from their origin, cooling and air conditioning products, but we want more. So then you have to look to other product groups, which makes it possible to do acquisitions of, I would say, activities, not full companies. That is not our strategy so far. It's not my department, it's not e-mobility, but of course I know what's happening there, and it's important because the total approach towards the aftermarket is stronger than ever, I would say. And it's the same customer portfolio, and that's interesting. That they know already about our existing product portfolio, so it's quite logic that they can embrace those turbos as well. Why not?
Well, would you say that NRF is a multinational company?
Yes, we are. So you've just been in the headquarters of NRF in the Netherlands. We have one other warehouse in the Netherlands, which serves Germany as well and UK. But we have a large warehouse in Gdansk in Poland. There is also our product management team, category management team, part of the sourcing, supply chain. So, I mean, IT is also there. So that's the main building after the Netherlands headquarters, where mainly here is finance and HR, for example. And then we have a big hub in Valencia in Spain and also in Granada in Spain. And both of them are going to be extended. So a lot of extra square meters, and we're upgrading the facilities there, looking for new people. In Granada, we do a lot of testing. So validation of products like the turbos, but in the future it will become more. And Valencia is the warehouse for Spain, Portugal. So yeah, that's one of them. We are in France, in Valenciennes, at the border with Belgium in the north. We have just a completely new warehouse. And we have also opened now a warehouse in Romania for the east side of Europe. We are expanding. We just opened a sales office in Turkey, Istanbul. So, I mean, we really grow. Also towards the Middle East and Asian countries, there is a lot of demand for our products. And why not? We are not in the Americas present with warehouses, but we're also looking for opportunities there.
Very interesting. You have mentioned several countries now, several target markets and regions. What makes a foreign market interesting for you guys?
Well, we have a lot of experience, of course, in our product range. We are the market leader in aftermarket in Europe for cooling and air conditioning systems. This is a growing market because plug-in hybrids and full EVs need, of course, thermal solutions for the battery packs and for the whole car. So it's a future product group. So that's a good news show. And then we have the additional products. So we are looking into the e-mobility product range. So we have parts for Tesla, we have parts for BYDs, and those brands are entering all markets, including, I would say, Dubai, for example, or Jordani, where they don't have a big oil production. They have lots of EVs there. So there are lots of markets where we didn't really act so far, and now we started to be present, and we're looking for partnerships there.
I wonder, does the shortage of skilled personnel, probably also in the Netherlands, it's a problem that we have in Germany as well, obviously. Yes. Does that play a role in you guys having expanded into Spain, for example, just recently, from what I understand?
Well, not specifically, but we already have the facility in Spain. It's easier to extend that, but right. Of course it's also a matter of labor price, availability, and we have very good experiences in Spain with the people, with the ecosystem, I would say. So it's a very important hub, and I think also in Poland we have extremely good approach. Also there we have just acquired an extra warehouse for because we grow that fast. So even there we need more and more people. It's not easy to find people in the whole of Europe for I would say jobs in warehouses or less qualified jobs. That's not easy to find. Engineers, we have them everywhere. So yeah, it's a challenge everywhere, every time.
You've now mentioned people, that keyword, a couple of times. How important is diversity to you, to the organization, the corporation that is NRF? And obviously you guys are active in a cross-border environment. How important is it to be knowledgeable about the different cultures, about sharing certain level of appreciation of the cultures, of the people that you are employing? Speak a little bit on that.
Yeah, well, we're used to that because we have a quite young employers team. So the average age is not that high. So because we grow that fast. we are present in many countries with different cultures, but we work closely together. We visit the sites. We have, of course, the online meetings, exchange of people. So sometimes people work temporarily in other sites as a part of the team. And our teams are pan-European, I would say. So the marketing team is everywhere. Product management team is not only in Poland, also we have Italians and other guys. So, I mean, we are indeed an international company. Our CEO, Frank Tubes, is extremely focused on the employees, to keep them and to enable them to grow with studies or other trainings. Two things are very important in the company, at least, and there is really a focus on that. It's we want to be a sporty company, so we make people enthusiastic to go for biking, or we have tennis tournaments and more. So that's really, I would say, motivated. And another thing, and I think we have no other choice, is to be a digital company. That means we have a high focus on cybersecurity, training people on IT topics. It's important that people use the systems in the company. We're really digitized. We use also AI, business intelligence. Yeah, we use the common systems. So yeah, that's another pillar, I would say, for keeping
right. So
employees.
You're committed to the well-being and personal growth and career growth of your employees.
And there are lots of programs. We have a very active HR department, and they really try to motivate people to stay in the company, to grow in the company, and to have maybe a little bit of job rotations also, and maybe even site rotations. People can go temporary to one of the other sites to merge with the local colleagues. It's very nice, really.
And what kind of professions are you looking for at NRF? What are the skills that you guys are looking for at NRF?
We're always looking for good product management. That's not easy, by the way, but we have all departments there. So we're looking for technical engineers for validation. We're looking for sales guys. That's also not so easy. We last year I think growth 25% in our sales team with new employees, because we want to have more. We want to be closer to the customers and to have a very good customer intimacy. So, yeah, it's growing in all aspects, I would say.
I can imagine. And now I'd like to backpedal a little bit and speak a little more about future markets, about foreign markets. Someone that's focused on the GCC region, the Gulf Cooperation Council. Obviously, I'm interested in hearing your strategy or your vision for that particular part of the world. I've noticed you've recently been engaged in the Dakar 2026 rally, which has taken place in Saudi Arabia, which I didn't know that the Dakar rally doesn't take place in Senegal anymore, but in Saudi Arabia now.
Yeah, for sure.
And so speak a little bit on that. How, in what way, in what capacity were you involved? Were you guys sponsors or?
Yeah, we sponsored 4 teams this year, and so far my department was not really involved because it's still classic ICE technology that we sponsor. We sponsored a buggy team, Spearings, a very successful team, a Dutch team. We sponsored a classic DAF truck, which I think has been a winner in the past with Jan de Rooij. And it's the Bull, it's a yellow one, very famous truck. Nice experience. We also have another truck, and we have a Porsche team, which is also quite successful. But next year, our e-mobility department is willing to get involved, because then we are willing to have an electric truck for Dakar, which probably you think, how is that possible in the desert? But we think it's possible. So we are about with a team to create that truck, and hopefully when we do the testing, it's really sustainable for the desert, and then we have the EV truck as NRF also available. So I'm looking forward to that.
So it sounds like this goes hand in hand with your strategy and being committed to the well-being and the sport aspect. But at the same time, this event has taken place in Saudi Arabia. Was that a part of the strategy to be present to show your brand to introduce NRF to this part of the world as well? Does that play a role in having?
Yeah, for sure. As I just explained, we are already upgrading our presence in Istanbul, right. Turkey, as a hub, I would say. At least a sales office and a complete team. So that's the entrance to more. Right. We know there is absolutely also electrification in the car park in those countries, which doesn't seem to be logic because they produce the oil. But even then, there are people who want to have an electric car. And as said, for example, in a country like Jordany, and there are more, they are not focused on oil. So there are extremely many EVs there already. Right. And there is a focus, yeah.
While the Dakar Rally was taking place, I was hosted in King Abdullah Economic City, which also happened to be where King Salman Automotive Cluster is located. And so while I was there meeting with representatives of automotive companies, seeing the strong presence in that hub of Lucid, BYD, Sear, among others, and also the German painting company Dürr, for example, has established its presence in that economic city. I wondered, an automotive company, a company that is active in the after-sales market, who does it cater to, and where do its products find application? Where can its products be placed? Are those renowned automotive manufacturers target clients for you guys? And where do you find the products of NRF? Obviously, those are manufacturing plants of electronic vehicles. Sear, for example, a Saudi brand. Now, the entire electric vehicle industry is fairly new. I think that someone that's thinking about acquiring an electronic vehicle also asks the question whether spare parts in the future can be an issue. So speak a little bit on your target audience as far as who purchases your products, and also on this, maybe we can say it, worry that you are going to be reliant on this manufacturer for spare parts in the future. What happens a couple of years down the road? Will I face a problem finding spare parts and so forth?
So first of all, we have to understand that those new vehicles are not only electrified. Right. That's just one part of it. I mean, we talk about the car case, and the case is that the cars are connected with the end game, of course, to be autonomous. They are software defined ecosystems, and then they're also electrified. So it's not just a battery pack that makes the change at the moment. It's a complete different architecture. And this, we have to understand, is creating completely new ecosystems where the car manufacturer controls the car from the beginning to the end with updates, which make the car better, adding features, adding functionality. There where the old cars were degrading and having less value in the end, can you upgrade the software-defined vehicles? And that makes a big change. On the other hand, those players are probably not always focused on a complete after-sales system. They don't have the workshops like dealers. They just focus on selling cars. They have 8 years of warranty, and most of the cars that we see in Europe, electrified, are still under warranty. And that means that we do not know how the cars will behave and where the aftermarket will turn to. And then another thing, because those ecosystems control the platforms, they also control the data, over-the-air software updates, but also the in-vehicle data. The car tells only to the car manufacturer what's happening. So fault codes, DTC codes, you can't get them. And if they would close the OBD port, the onboard diagnose port, where the independent workshops have to work with the diagnose tools, if this will be closed because of cybersecurity, for example, and safety, and that's a real argument, then aftermarket is in danger. Here it comes up to the point that if you are digitizing cars, of course, with autonomous driving as the major goal, safety and cybersecurity are targets. And that means that even politicians will say, yes, of course, because of safety, we cannot allow anyone to enter the car systems. So now we are entering in a new era with new regulations. So we have a block exemption regulation, which is, by the way, ending in 2028, so it has to be renewed. We have a Data Act. We have also to deal with data with the GDPR regulations. And now there is also a new regulations. So for example, in 2027, there will be a battery passport. It's also about data. And there is an upcoming part which is called the Delegated Act to Annex 10. And that's about also cybersecurity and entering data in cars. And the outcome of that will be that, in fact, cars will only be available for getting the data for the car manufacturers themselves, unless you have an authorization with a diagnose tool and a subscription. By the way, you also need to have a certificate, CERMI, for entering alarm systems and doors with locks and more. So there's a lot of things to do. If you don't have this, you have no access anymore. And then we only talk about the data. Another subject is the parts. So those new players, and lots of them we have not to forget, are hardware telephone industry companies. They produce originally in China, for example, like NIO or Xiaomi or even Huawei. They produce handies. So we are entering a period where we can see again happening what happened in 2007 when Apple created and launched the app-based platform, the iPhone. And this is happening again now to cars. And that makes a huge change. The parts are captive. Those manufacturers have their own partners for delivering the parts, and also they make an assembled car. Maybe also there 85% of the car exists from external parts, modules, battery packs from different companies, and there is no aftermarket system. These parts are not available, and they don't have the same supply chain that we already know with the European car manufacturers, the main brands who supply parts to the automotive industry, the legacy car makes, are almost not present in those Chinese car makes, and not even in Tesla. And that's completely changing the game, and that's what it's about.
And I guess that goes in line with your strategy. I have seen on your platform a catalog for BYD and Tesla vehicles. So tell me a little bit about that. Is that your strategy to sort of secure, that's basically your projection, that down the road there will be an after-sale market for those electronic vehicle manufacturers?
First of all, there is a delay because of the warranty period of 8 years. Means that the cars are longer in warranty than the regular legacy car makes do. That's 4, 5, maybe 7 years, but not 8. What we see happen here is that we need to solve 3 things. So first of all, the data and the access. That's something that the whole market has to arrange. Secondly, you need to train the mechanics because they know nothing about electrified systems and they know nothing about the digital platforms. So they have to go back to school and have their trainings and certifications. That's mandatory. And 3, to get access to the parts. And there is lack of parts. The parts are not available, not even in the OES dealerships, because there are no dealerships, and if there are dealerships, they don't have a huge stock of parts for those cars, which are still under warranty. And the aftermarket has no parts at all, because the regular parts manufacturers almost do not have those parts in their production range. So we, as an aftermarket player, we thought, okay, that could be a nice gap for us to participate. And yes, that means we introduced a complete range of Tesla parts last year on Automechanica, and we already launched also a complete portfolio for BYD, and we will go on. So that means for China originated cars, we will have parts coming from China, aftermarket parts, and that's not only our own portfolio. So it's more than cooling, air conditioning, and sensors. We also now have brakes, steering, suspension, filtration, even door handles. We sell them for Teslas, headlights and more. So everything we can find and is demanded, we can offer that. So also there the game is changing.
We're in the Netherlands now. I come from Germany, and I'd be curious to know what the proportions are when you're speaking about electronic vehicles in contrast to combustion. Did you have any intel on that when it comes to the market here in the Netherlands?
Yeah, we see absolutely electrification is going on. So new cars. What we also see is that in the beginning there were lots of advantages, subsidized tax advantages for owners, lease companies or drivers. This has almost disappeared. And what we also see is that 35% of the used electric cars in Holland disappear over the border as an export car. So things are not easy to grab, I would say. But yes, there is absolutely electrification going on. And yes, workshops should also train themselves on this subject and be ready and prepare themselves for the electric cars. In the meantime, we see, of course, the hybrids, the plug-in hybrids. They are the fast-moving, fast-growing part, and that's partly old-school technology combined with the new technology. And this is probably the very first beginning for the workshops. Those cars are extremely complicated because they are over-engineered. In fact, they have two drive lines in one car, rotating parts, electrified parts, combinations. They have a battery pack, but they still have an ICE. Everything can break down, automatic gearboxes. So the potential value in the workshop for sending invoices and doing repairs is great.
So it sounds like this hybrid trend is also part of the reason why NRF has acquired the Alanko brand with its turbochargers.
Yeah, for sure. Turbos are part of this, as I said, in plug-in hybrids also, and as the car park is aging, there is a demand for those turbos, and especially the small cars. You need to change the turbos quicker than in the old school diesels with 350, 500,000 kilometers. But now it's maybe 100 or 150,000 kilometers already for exchanging the turbo, which is good news for the aftermarket.
I haven't asked you, how long have you been with the organization? How long have you been working with NRF?
I'm only there for 2 years, but in the past I was in the Netherlands working with parts manufacturers as a customer from NRF. I'm in distribution for 39 years now in parts. So they are not unknown. We know each other, and as a Dutch guy, I embrace the orange color. But it's a nice company to work for, to be honest. They're very dynamic, and we are really focused on growth. With our team, e-mobility team, we have the focus on being the first to market with not only the parts, and the first with a complete range of Tesla parts, first one to offer a complete range of BYD parts, but also to offer solutions. So we want to be the first name in e-mobility in the aftermarket, and I think we're on our way for that. That means we also offer the trainings, for example, e-learnings. We offer content online. We have a complete tech platform. You can have a subscription to that with an account, and there you can find lots of things that you need in your workshop for working on EVs.
So we've spoken about many optimistic topics now, and your projection is that, for example, this hybrid trend will obviously be something that's going to benefit NRF and its future. But talk a little bit about the challenges or the worries and risks. Is there something that you're dreading? Maybe, this topic that you've touched upon, the access topic. What happens if that access was not granted? I don't know. What is it that you worry about down the road? And are you prepared for these?
The thing I'm the most worried about is that we enter now an era of a technology which things like see, think, act. We have a sensor, we have a computer, and we have an actuator. That's how the car has been designed so far, and then it will become one ecosystem. Mechanics should think like that. They should see, think, and act. But they don't see, think, and act at this moment on changing anything. They are too busy with their planning boards. They don't have time to think and talk about change. And that means they don't act. They don't go for trainings. They don't buy their diagnose tools unless it's mandatory. And yes, there is regulation, I would say, to help us and to organize this between the car manufacturers and the independent aftermarket repairers. But okay, it's channelizing things. We have to standardize the flow of digital information, the in-vehicle data, because if each and every car manufacturer has a counter where you have to get your parts at a certain price with a different protocol, it's undoable for independent workshops. So yes, the aftermarket is trying to become standardized. We have initiatives there like Caruso, a data place, and High Mobility, another data place. And yes, the diagnosed tool manufacturers are working on this. So the mechanic has its list of to-do things. The parts distributors have to find the parts because they are not available that easy. And I think we as a total market, and that's also what we do, is we have to do the lobby and we have to work on this regulations in order to keep access to the data in the vehicles. So it's on all levels, right. It's changing, and it's changing so quickly that mechanics can just not sit and wait because no one is going to bring them the solution. They have to grab it by themselves and embrace the change themselves, training, parts, diagnose tools, and that's what it is.
When it comes to lobbying, there are interest representatives. I'm familiar with those in Germany, the VDA, VDMA, and so forth. I'm not familiar with those interest representatives here in the Netherlands. Which organizations represent your interests here in the Netherlands?
Yeah, we have a local association of workshop, BOVAG. They are part of SECRA, for example. We have RAI Automotive, who's taking care for the distribution and production companies in automotive. So they also represent themselves in different clubs and associations. So the main European approach is, I think, CLEPA, in the name of the parts industry. We have ATPA, this is about data publishers. And we have all kind of other associations working together. FIGEVA is the aftermarket association representing us at politicians and doing the lobby. So yeah, everyone works together. I'm a chairman of communication, also involved in sharing knowledge about this. So we are not doing the lobby, but we try to be the lighthouse in the aftermarket for assembling, let's say, collecting knowledge and resharing it with the members. So we organize congresses and we have pilots for use cases with companies like Caruso and others. So yeah, we try all to be actively approaching and embracing we have no other choice. So we have to talk with each other. We have to exchange knowledge and experiences, and yeah, we have to organize ourselves for sure.
And so you're actively engaged in that process and that policy making basically process. And are you also engaged in events in where your worries and your interests can be discussed with policymakers?
Yeah, we are very involved with being the voice of the aftermarket and telling the story, waking up, shaking up the aftermarket, and okay, guys, we have to do something. We are as NRF, we are very active and present in local events from ITGs or exhibitions. We attend something like 35 events every year with our sales guys. So we are really visible as the Orange Army. This is important. In my role as the chairman of communication, we also organize conferences, and we also want to be the independent voice of the aftermarket, claiming right to repair as well. It's very important, and a lot of people are too busy to think about this, and it's going so fast. It's really disruptive, and people do not understand the risk of what happened in 2007 with Nokia and Minolta can happen again to car manufacturers and parts manufacturers, and they are not aware about that. And when you explain this example, they shake up and they say, well, yes, maybe you're right. I have to do something, and that's it.
How do you counter this skilled labor shortage? Is there anything that you do to make sure that enough future technicians, future engineers tap into this field of work? Are you engaged in reaching out to maybe schools here in the Netherlands? What is it that you do that ensures that young people in the Netherlands consider a career in this field?
Yeah, we are present at the automotive campus in the Eindhoven region, and we have a close collaboration with the local technical university. We sponsor some programs. We do the same with another university in the west of Holland, in Delft, with the hydrogen project. So we have both e-mobility, electrification, and hydrogen projects with students. We learn from them. They can use our engineering capacity. We learn from them. And we hope that, those people are getting interested in working in automotive aftermarket. So that's one thing. When you look to the global situation, yes, we see also opportunities at our other hubs like Poland and Spain. But not to forget, we have also good connections with Indian companies. And we see a global effect that also Chinese companies start to produce in other countries like probably Thailand, but also Malaysia, but also India. And as you probably have mentioned, Europe just has signed a new contract with India about export regulations, I would say, which makes it probably easier to work with Indian people for European companies. So this is an opportunity. So if there are problems with our, I would say, technical employees, there is capacity in India, and those people have also very high skill. I mean, the degree is high there.
Were you ever in a situation where you weren't able to identify personnel here in the Netherlands and that you needed to go across borders to recruit?
Sometimes, well, we see it happen in Poland, for example, where a lot of people in the warehouse are not even Polish.
Right.
It is a development that we see everywhere. And we have to deal like all the competitors with that. Yes.
That brings me back to the GCC states that are very active in establishing academies, vocational schools, in diversifying their professional development opportunities for its young generation.
Yeah.
Is that something that could add value to your organization, to NRF, to partake in sort of a know-how transfer, know-how exchange, partnerships and collaborations with foreign institutions in foreign markets like the GCC region? Is that something that intrigues you guys?
Well, it should be possible. To be honest, I don't think our focus yet is there. We just entering these markets, and we just are focused on growing towards those countries. But in the future, why not? I mean, if there is any partnership possible, we are open to that, and we expand double digit so that we grow. We will have extra needs. This year we have 5 new warehouses. That's incredible. We doubled our square meters. So I mean, I don't know where the end is. It's exploding.
If you were to pitch NRF to a potential cooperation partner abroad, say in Saudi Arabia, to accelerate the know-how exchange, to contribute to the diversification of available professions for the youth of that particular part of the world. First of all, would that be something that's in your interest to transfer knowledge abroad? And then how would you pitch yourself as NRF? What's your asset? What's your main asset? What is it that you bring to the table that a potential cooperation partner would be interested in?
Well, first of all, and I think that's an important thing, we are agile. And in history, always the most agile companies have survived, not the strongest or the richest companies. We are really agile. So that's a real asset. We're flexible. We can adjust to the market needs. We can change quickly. and we understand our customers. So we have a very good relation with our business partners, and I said we have a very good presence over the countries where we work. Most countries we are the market leader. So that's a good one. We have knowledge of the technology, and we are into the right technology, which is thermal products, which is the future. Everything, and even in those countries, has to do with cooling and heating of the car, and that's our aim. So that's good. So yes, we can help them. We can share knowledge. We definitely will need people in the future, and if there is a system working there with partnership, we would embrace that, really.
What is it that could, on the flip side, add value to NRF? I mean, you're adding value now. This was your pitch to such an organization that's interested in partnering with you. What is it that the other way around? How can that benefit you if you went abroad, when you go above and beyond in an effort to educate the youth in another country to take part in events, in institutions, vocational schools, engineering faculties, and so forth? What's in it for you guys if you were to engage in such an activity?
It's about everything that you need in your company, which means capacity. You need knowledge, you need dynamic people, and sometimes you need to have local people to have a local approach, and that means we cannot do it from Holland or from Poland alone. We just have to do everything in partnerships with local employees, local people, local governments. So yeah, we are always part of national associations for automotive, or we work with local schools, universities. So yeah, there is always a complete ecosystem that we use for this.
You've mentioned markets that you already have a presence in, Spain, for example. When you tap into those markets, do you establish a legal entity there, or do you have? You do.
Yeah, always. And so we have many legal entities working separately, because you have your tax and you have your local presence with your employees. So you need to have that. Yeah. So we are one big holding is in NRF in Mill, the NRF holding, but all those countries have their own companies.
And in a globalized economy, and in now a multinational companies such as yourselves, manufacturing does not always take place where the headquarter is located. All over the world, probably. Now, certain countries have initiatives and have an agenda to nationalize and diversify their industries. What they do is they offer incentives, they offer European companies, German companies, companies from the Netherlands and so forth, incentives to establish a presence and establish manufacturing parts. Do you see that as a threat, that a European organization relocates part of its manufacturing processes to another part of the world? Or is that something that could potentially strengthen the headquarter and strengthen the brand as a whole?
Well, to be honest, we haven't done it before because there was no opportunity or no case. So we didn't do it so far. I'm sure that our CEO is open for that. If it's the local case to be successful, I'm sure that we are open to that. But we don't have the case so far on the table. So that means, let it happen. And we'll see what's the direction we have to go. You see this in certain countries, but we are not present in China yet with production or so. So it's a future case. Let's embrace it.
Dear Freek, I really appreciate this opportunity to have you as a guest on our first episode of Great Car Conversations. It was a pleasure and honor. Really appreciate you showing us around the headquarter of NRF here in the Netherlands. And I wish you and NRF all the luck in the world down the road.
Thank you very much, Henry. And as I said before, we are a sporty company. So I hope you, as a professional basketball player, whenever you touch the orange basketball, you think on NRF Hope to see you in the future.
I will
Thank
do.
you for having me.
It's my favorite color, and I absolutely think of NRF every time I shoot a basketball, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
See you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.